Hey, John, Mark Baker here at my virtual lesson studio in Orange County, California. So I got your notes and I got your videos and I've gone through them. And as what stays very consistent, bowlers have a very good self-analysis. So yes, your timing and a consistent release are exactly the things you're going to work on. I've got some ideas. That being said, let's get straight to the videos. Okay, John, here I have you queued up from the back. Let's go ahead and play those. And I think this is the better one I like. First one's always a little quick. We'll play it again twice. Yeah, that ball gets to the spot down lane. You don't turn it early. Obviously, great reaction. So I'm just looking at your footwork. There's a lot of things you do right. I might work on not so much more of a crossover step. I would just get your first two steps cleaned up a little bit. The reason why you miss left, now here's a good one. Here you're standing on, let's see, that's 20, that's 25. So you're standing on left foot like the middle of 28. It goes fairly straight. And then your second step, it's not really a crossover, but it is under your head. So it gives you a little bit of a slot right there for your swing to come down. Your third step goes a little bit left, which I agree with. The reason why this third step has to go a little left, you've got to have somewhere for your pivot step to drop under your head or slightly inside your head. So this one, it drops inside your head. So what that does, it allows your swing to come down and hit your, now if you look at your swing from the ball through your arm, through your shoulder, you're kind of aiming at 7-8 down lane. Exactly what I believe in. But more importantly, you slide pretty straight. See, your hand is behind the ball, and you turn this ball at the end of your toe. And that's why the core lays down there. All right. Here's why you take videos. So let's watch this in full speed, and I'll break it down. Kind of the same, but to me, you turned that much earlier, and that ball didn't get near as far right. So here we go. Now, from the angle I'm looking at, this one looks like your first step goes in. See what I'm saying? I can't see it. So you're standing in the same place, 27, but your first step ends up, right there. If you look at it there. So now your first step is more on 23, 24. So all of a sudden you got a 2 or 3 board shift to the right, and your second step is now on the outside of your head. So now we're going to have problems. Third step goes away, but now that fourth step's there. So what happens is you turn this one here. There you go. There are only 2 places you can turn a ball. At the end of your toe or before your heel. So when you turn it before your heel, your hand comes over the top. You lay the core down a little soon. And the ball reaction is accordingly. It doesn't get as far right. The core wants to read Brooklyn. I would really work on from the back. There's 2 things we're going to work on. Your timing and your footwork. Your footwork causes your release where you turn it. This would be B. Your timing is going to be A. I would work on your first step being a little straighter so it doesn't dive into your first step. So that way your second step can always go under your head or slightly inside your head. The best video is either Barnes or Bill O'Neill. Jason Belmonte has the best second step in the game of bowling, and nobody wants to hear that, but he does have great fundamentals. So yeah, when your second step's under your head or slightly inside, that just gives you a swing path, but it gets your body going there. When your first 2 bleed to the right, you tend to walk into it. People that walk into it tend to miss their target. On back of your notes, a board left. Most common shot miss, bad shots. You get drifting a little bit. Your hand turns in the wrong spot. You tend to miss inside your target. Okay, that's from the back. Now let's get to the side. Okay, John, here I have you queued up from the side. Let's go ahead and play this. As you can see, your first 2 steps are long and quick, and then you decelerate in the middle of your, right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, get a little slow, and I am going to show you where your timing is. 1, 2, see right there, we'll talk about that in a second. Third step's in balance. You got good balance, and you're very thin, so you're in really good shape. So I measure timing as a coach when your slide foot is flat in front of your head. I want your swing to be parallel to the ground. So there is your timing spot. Let's make this way simpler. Let's just put somebody out here. Here we go. He has the most basic game, I would think, of anybody I coach. There we go. Let's put Bill O'Neill up here just for a second. So there you go. So I measure timing. When your foot gets flat in front of your head, your swing should be parallel to the ground. That's what I consider timing. Almost 98% of the pros do that. So it's something I came up with about 10 years ago, and it's still working pretty good for just about everybody that bowls on tour. So let's go back and look at yours. Here we go. So your timing spot is there. As you can see, John, you haven't really started your slide yet, so I would consider you pretty early. So when we actually get your foot flat in front of your head, there you go. So to give you a better understanding of what I mean, there's your timing spot somewhere in that zone. So I think the ball should be up in this zone here. I put a ball on the end of it. There you go. So you're good 1, you're good 2, 2.5, 3 balls early in timing. Your footwork's good and your balance is excellent. So I think that's why you do so well in your average, and your average is, yeah, you average 218. So you're doing a lot of things right. You want to get a little more consistent, get that thing. I would think a legitimate goal is for us to get to 225. But I got to get that release point a little bit later. So how are we going to fix this? How are we going to get that timing a little bit later without, completely changing everything? All right, what we're going to do is going to shorten up your first 2 steps a little bit right there. So when you get done with your first step, if we looked at Bill, his head's on top. Your head's a little behind it. So what I'm saying is, when you're in your stance, or if I was at the bowling center and you and I are having a conversation, we were back here in the settee having a conversation, when you stand and talk to me, your head's over your shoulders, over your hips, over your knees. That's balance. I think you get a little behind it there. There's pretty good. I am not a believer in this. I do not believe in knee bend in the second step, because what happens is when you drop down, your body stops moving. Again, if we were at a stoplight together and the light turned green, especially in Southern California with all of our traffic, first step, I make sure I don't get hit by a car running the red light. Second step, I walk, but I don't drop down. I stay tall. So when you drop down, your momentum starts, but your swing keeps going. What tends to happen when I see people drop in their second step, their swings get really quick through there. So now it's on top of your swing. See, the ball's coming down off the top of your swing before you start your slide. So now you're early. So you're very, very accurate, but I bet you have a little bit of miss on the inside. Sometimes your timing's early and you walk a little right, so you turn the wrong place, or you don't throw as many strikes as you'd like. That's all based on timing. Let's go back to the pros for another visual. Somebody that's from your state that's fairly tall that does this exceptionally well. So I just want you to look at the beginning. We can measure his timing. So Chris's steps are a little shorter than yours. Don't measure about when he pushes it. But right there, as you can see, he locks his leg out. If you looked at Jason Belmonte from the side, same second step. See, his second step goes underneath it. Not a big crossover. He just goes in front, so there's a window. But look at his head. So then when he walks by, his swing is super slow there. Allows his pivot step to get underneath. And when his foot gets flat in front of his head, he's in the same spot Bill O'Neill is. That allows him to turn it later and have the good balance. So back to you. All right, let's get it back. Ooh, a little too quick. There we go. There we go. All right, John. So I want your first step a little shorter. Probably your second step a little shorter. See right there. If I get real technical here, see again. Now your head is behind it in the first 2 steps. There we go. So I want your first 2 steps a little shorter. And I don't want you to collapse down instead of going forward. A little shorter first 2 steps. Keep your head on top of each step so you stay taller. So that third step goes by. So when you get here, the ball's going to be somewhere in here. It's not going to be so high because there's your pivot step. See, your pivot step is also a little short of your head. That tells me you have early timing. There's your timing spots. When you get here, I think within another month, 3 weeks, hell, it might be in 2 weeks, your goal is to get your swing. I'm not expecting perfect timing that quick. By the next video, I would think somewhere in that zone would be your goal. If you do that, you will start turning the ball at the end of your toe more often. Or like this one, the ball's coming off. See here what happens when you're early? That ball's coming off your hand really early. It's leaving your thumb behind your heel. So you're catching it at the end of your toe. Most pros' release point is out here. So release them more, not bad. Obviously, you have really good balance. You're in great shape. We got to get your drift or your walk to the foul line a little more consistent, and your timing. So in recap, first step straight, slight, not a big crossover, just slightly in. That's all I'm talking about. From the side, I want, if you want to move on the approach, that's fine. We got to get the rhythm so it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, slide. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, throw it. So, first 2 steps, move up a little bit, keep your head on top of your first 2 steps. At the end of your push away in the second step, there's no bending your knee. You walk by it. You push it out and you walk by it. Stay tall, walk by the ball. Your hips drop when you go into your slide, and you'll be fine there. Because the goal of this whole thing is to get your timing another ball or 2 later, if not 3 balls later, to get you in perfect time. That should be your goal. And if you can do that, you'll see more rev rate, more ball speed. If you walk better, more accuracy. John, really enjoyed looking at your videos. I'll talk to you soon.